Valentine's Day remains a bittersweet occasion for the people of Lower Quinton, a small village in the West Midlands of England. Some of the locals have been known to plan annual trips away just so they aren't around when February 14th comes around. It's as if the horrors of a 77-year-old unsolved crime still linger, like a dark fog. It was Valentine's Day in 1945 when the body of 74-year-old Charles Walton, a farm laborer who grew up locally, was found dead on the slope of Meon Hill. Some say that this was a folklore killing. There's many mysteries that surround it. Was it a ritual act? Was it performed with the purpose of replenishing the soil? Local historian Darren Charles said that, touching on some of the wild rumors that circulated, he says, apparently the year before Walton's death proved to be a difficult harvest, and the beer brewed from those crops was undrinkable. Walton was seen as an unusual fellow who had bred natterjack toads in his garden and tamed wild dogs with just his voice. If nothing else, this just goes to prove you fuck up the beer, everybody's pissed off. But it's all for the greater good.
The greater good.
It's evil! Don't touch it!
It's alive!
I was with you.
They're coming to get you. What a power of Christ. This is...
Hello, Mr. Fancy Pants.
Welcome back to hello, Mr. Fancy Pants. I am Zach. Joining me always is...
I am Spar.
And...
Lindy.
And...
I'm not always here, so fuck you.
The Todd. All right, well, then that's
enough.
the Todd. That's the Todd.
Due to the graphic nature of this program, listener discretion is advised. I'm back, motherfuckers.
What's my line, Zach? I don't remember. I don't know how he does it.
He's got to write it down. You just can't read yet, Matt.
I'm trying.
Don't worry. I'm about
through.
halfway. I'm about halfway through Zoolander School for people who can't read good and stuff.
One of these days I'll nail it.
Hooked
Yeah,
on
one of these
fucking
days.
worked for me.
How the fuck is everybody doing?
Fantastic.
I'm doing good. I made it home.
Right on. Yeah, I know the feeling. Well, today we are going to be discussing good old Pitchfork Walton there.
Pitchfork.
Pitchfork. Yep. I had no idea about this until about 3 hours before we started recording. I did a little. I skimmed it. I just wanted to make sure I was somewhat familiar with the material, so I could, chime in and whatnot.
I wasn't able to do anything before this because I had a house full of 5 fucking cheerleaders for a birthday party, and I was just like,
okay, that long pause there for a second, I thought you were going to say something else. So I'm glad you finished with that.
I was like, God, Jennifer, hurry up and get home and get these girls out of here so we can record something. This is insane. They got every TV in the house blaring songs while they're shooting TikTok videos and dancing, and I'm just like, ugh. I feel like that old man is like, that's not music. Get off my lawn.
Oh,
Y'all go shake your asses somewhere else.
I said, I don't know what a whip or a nay-nay is, but it sounds ridiculous.
sounds illegal.
Damn
Shouldn't be doing that
whippersnappers.
stuff.
Dad, watch our dance. I'm like, no thanks. And put some more clothes on. Fucking kids.
No kidding, right?
Come let you leave this house. I know I'm not your dad. You put on more shit anyway, because he would appreciate me saying it. You do whatever you want when you're out with my wife. When you're here, just fucking cover up. It's outrageous. And Jennifer's like, oh, it looks cute. No. It looks like a pedophile's dream is what it looks like. I'm fucking kid.
Yeah.
All right, I got that out of my system.
I feel your pain. When Todd stops giggling there,
I need about 5 beers.
you need 5?
I think. That's it's ballparking.
I'm
Okay.
I'm gonna self-incriminate myself here for a minute.
Okay.
The worst situation I ever came across dealing with my own teenage girls. Came home from work, walk in the door, and I was in a duplex, so I'm walking downstairs, and 2 girls go running out of my daughter's bedroom into the kitchen wearing shorts and bras, and I stopped and was like, I think this is that moment where I just need to leave.
Yeah. I'd be with you. Yeah.
My daughter comes out of my bedroom wearing nothing but one of my big t-shirts, which thank God, is like mid-thigh on her.
Right.
And I'm like, what's going on? And she's like, oh, well, we're just doing hair and makeup and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, and you were in my room? Because I needed a t-shirt. And I'm like, yeah, that's why my t-shirts are always disappearing, which, mind you, all the way up until the age of 29, she was still stealing my t-shirts.
Yeah, mine too.
I don't see it going away.
So I'm like, I'm still standing on the stairs at this point. They all go running back into my daughter's room, put clothes on, and one of them steps out and is like staring me up and down. And I'm just like, I need to leave. And as I start to turn around, she's like, where are you going? Were you scared of us? And I turned around and looked at her and I said, I don't know. Are you 18? And she goes, no, that's next month. And I walked out the door.
Are you scared of us? I'd rather be looking down the barrel of a gun right now.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yes.
I literally walked out, got in
They
my
act
car.
like it's nothing.
I know. And I left. I came back like 2 hours later, and they're just all giggles, and I'm like, yeah, I don't care that you feel like I'm offended and I'm scared. That's fine. Just shut my bedroom door, put some fucking earbuds in. I'm just going to pretend this day didn't happen.
I'll be in here listening to some good old wholesome American music like fucking Slayer while you're listening to that weird shit.
You go whip your nay somewhere else.
I do have to say that the t-shirt stealing never goes away. When I fly out to see my parents, my bonus mom will tell me, if you need a hoodie or something, I've got a bunch. Now I just need one of Dad's shirts. I'm 37. It's never going to change. It's never going to change.
The
Kimber's
difference,
got me
Lindy,
pretty brave. She hasn't taken a clutch shirt yet because if she does, I'm gonna lose my shit.
Yeah.
You put that motherfucker back.
My kid's into like 2X t-shirts now, so I think I'm safe.
Oh, I don't have any 2X. I haven't gotten to that.
That's what I'm saying. I don't either. Yeah. So she's like, she buys them 2X. I'm like, well, I guess I'll get those from you later when I get older.
It's going back, isn't it? It's going back. My daughter went to I can buy a boat.
Oh, okay.
Chris Jensen. Yeah, and she was wearing these fucking bell bottoms. And I swear to God, she came out of her bedroom and she looked like I was like, you look like a fucking extra from Scooby-Doo.
whoa.
She's like, what? Because she was wearing like this tight tank top with these fucking bell bottoms. And I'm not shitting, these bell bottoms were massive. I was like, you need boot cut. That's a bit extreme. It's like, that's a bit extra. You don't need that.
None shall pass without Scooby snacks.
You could have wore moon boots, and by that I mean NASA fucking moon boots, and it still wouldn't be touching them with those fucking flows you got coming off those. Good thing Grandma, my mom, Nana, because she's too young to be called Grandma, loaned her a pair of boots. So I can't believe that Kimber has the same size foot as my mom because she passed Jennifer like a long time ago.
They just keep getting bigger, man. Well, are we ready?
I don't know what the fuck are we even talking about today.
I don't know either. I was venting. It's been so long since I talked to anybody. I was in a truck by myself for like 5 days.
That's when you talk to yourself, Matt.
Yeah, I do talk to myself.
I do it all the time. I think you're talking about Charles Walton today, man. Isn't that right?
Ah,
Remember that?
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
And then he said something about giving up all sorts of information about UFOs. Or maybe you didn't say that. No, that was in my head. Okay, that's fine.
I
I'm not at
can
liberty.
neither confirm nor deny any such statements that you might think I need to make.
Okay. It's in my head.
In my hand. Alrighty then. Well, it was Valentine's Day in 1945 when the body of 74-year-old Charles Walton, a farm laborer who grew up locally, was found twisted on the slope of Meon Hill. Walton's throat had been slashed deeply by his own something, basically a farm device for trimming hedges.
Is that the
Well, it's
like a scythe.
Yeah.
A scythe. Yeah.
His body was pinned, and this is the part that I don't get. They quoted it as being pinned to the floor, but it was pinned to the ground by a protruding pitchfork. And allegedly, there was a cross carved into his chest. The murder of Walton was the moment when witchcraft made it into the daily newspapers. There was a 1971 documentary, The Power of the Witch. The investigation was also the final case for retiring Chief Inspector Robert Fabian, an aging celebrity detective in the area who brought into the hype that he was the reincarnation of Sherlock Holmes.
Now, Fabian, wasn't he Scotland Yard?
What? Why? Yes.
Put the name like Fabian, you automatically sound like a fucking douchebag. I'm sorry.
It's Fabian.
Well,
It's
and then
Fabian.
and trying to proclaim that you're the reincarnation of Sherlock
That wasn't
Holmes,
real.
but
Well, that
Yeah,
came
The
about.
reincarnation of a fictional character.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
I'm the reincarnation of Mickey Mouse. That's why.
That's believable. How
Certainly.
do you make Swiss cheese, Matt?
Well, first of all, you got to go back and watch Tugboat Wheelie, and I'll show you the way to churn.
That is some of the most disturbing shit to know that I laughed at as a kid. It was like, really? That's how he was making Swiss cheese? Wow.
I love this cheese so much.
Let me just hump this phallus right
I'm gonna
through
drill a
it.
hole in this motherfucker.
Moving along.
Oh, this is going to be one of those.
Is it? All right.
Okay. Fuck, I lost my thought of trains.
We haven't even got our toes wet, my man.
No. All right, let's go with some background here. So,
All right.
Charles Walton was an agricultural worker. He was a fucking farmhand. He was a widower who shared his small cottage with his 33-year-old niece, Edith Walton, whom he had adopted 30 years previously upon the death of her mother.
Nice guy.
Walton was described as something of a loner who had earned a reputation as a trainer of horses in his youth. Not sheep, horses.
Breaking the horses, no, respectful.
It is said that he did not socialize with his neighbors, but he was not disliked.
Kind of kept to himself.
Yeah, Walton walked with a walking stick because he had rheumatic joints. He had arthritis. However, he sought casual farm work wherever he could find it. And for the previous 9 months before his death, had been working for a local farmer, Alfred Potter, whose farm was known as the Firs.
Mr. Potter.
Wingardium Leviosa. It's Leviosa, not Leviosa.
Edith Walton had lived with Charles Walton since she was 3 years old, although her father was still alive and lived on the other side of this nice little village. He didn't ever have anything to do with her. Walton had occupied his cottage since World War I, and his wife had died in 1927. So
he'd been a widower for a while there.
Yeah. So he made just a little bit of money, and he paid his niece to, keep house and whatnot. And so, they were, the happy odd couple, I guess.
Now am I wrong here? He got some money when his wife died. Is that right?
I didn't go into that.
All right. I think he got not a whole lot, but he had some money set aside. So,
well, let's just say that at 74, he paid his niece £1 per week for housekeeping. He also paid the 3 shillings per week for rent on the cottage, as well as buying their coal and meat, and his casual earnings from working as a farmhand, and he received 10 shillings a week for old age pension. So they weren't struggling, but, he had to subsidize his income.
Right.
So on the 14th of February, 1945, Walton left home with a pitchfork and a slash hook, a double-edged pruning implement with a sharpened straight edge on one side and a concave cutting edge on the other. Edith
sounds vicious, really.
Edith stated
Some
that
people
Walton
call it a Kaiser blade. I call it a sling blade.
So his niece stated that Walton had left his purse at home on this day. And so he didn't take any money with him or anything. He was just going to work. He was witness to have passed through the churchyard of the town between 9 and 9:30 that morning. And on this particular day, he was slashing hedges in a field known as hill ground on the slopes of Meon Hill.
Meow?
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 Meow? Right meow? Right meow?
No, maybe
Get
later.
on the store, meow.
So that day, his niece Edith was working as a printer's assembler in town, which the Royal Society of Arts is what it was part of. They had located to Lower Quinton for during the duration of the war to avoid bombings and things of that nature in London.
Yes.
And
Blitzkrieg.
she expected Walton to be home by 4 p.m. Edith didn't get home until around 6 that night and found that Walton was not there. His solitary nature and regular habits gave her no solace that he might be in the local pub or visiting a friend, because that was not anything that he ever did. So she went to see her neighbor, another agricultural worker by the name of Harry Beasley, who lived, further down the road. Together, they made their way up to the farm, the Firs, to alert Alfred Potter. Potter claimed to have last seen Charles earlier in the day slashing the hedges in hill ground. The three of them set out in the direction of the spot where Charles had last been seen and eventually found his body near a hedgerow. The murderer had beaten Walton over the head with his own walking stick and had cut his neck open
That's a dick move.
with the slash hook and driven the prongs of the pitchfork and to the side of his neck, pinning him to the ground.
This almost like decapitated him, right?
Fucking vicious, man.
The handle of the pitchfork had
If there's a bustle in your hedgerow, run like a motherfucker.
It's just a hand in the bush, in the bush, in the bush,
in the bush.
Oh, Lord.
So that's pretty brutal fucking way to go.
So this is where, I alluded to earlier, the official record does not mention anything about a cross being carved into his chest. But that's part of the lore of the story, is that, it was a ritualistic killing.
What would the cross have to do? I mean, it wasn't inverted or anything, right? It was
no. So let's see. They send for the constable and blah blah blah. So about 11 p.m. that night, the detective inspector took a statement from Alfred Potter finally. And Potter stated that he had been at the farm for about 5 years and had known Walton for all that time. He had employed Walton casually for the last 9 months and said that Walton had worked when the weather permitted. Walton had been engaged on hedging for the previous few months, and Hillground was the last field needing attention. Potter stated that he had been in the College Arms with Joseph Stanley, a farmer from Whitecross Farm, until noon that day. He had gone straight across to a small field adjoining Hillground and saw Walton working about 500 to 600 yards away. He said he noticed that Walton had about 6 to 10 yards of hedge left to cut, and that when he found his body later that day, about 4 additional yards of hedge had been cut, which would have been about a half hour's work. Why that is documented, I have no fucking clue.
Trying to get a time of death, probably.
Yeah, maybe trying to, zoom it in at least.
Yeah. Potter stated that he knew that it was Walton's habit to stop for lunch around 11 a.m. and that he would then work continuously until about 4 p.m. He described Walton as an inoffensive type of man, but one who would speak his mind if necessary. So at this point, the decision to request assistance from the Metropolitan Police, formerly known as
Scotland Yard,
was made, and the Deputy Chief Constable of Warwickshire sent a message on 15 February.
You're talking to my guy all wrong. It's Warwickshire. Warwickshire.
Yeah,
Okay.
Sure, not Shire. Yeah. It's not the Hobbit.
Who said?
Everybody in England.
It's
fucking Gandalf told me, man.
Yeah.
You
I was told by people.
You were told by people.
Yeah, from the Shire that it's not Shire. It's
From
Shire.
the Shire. Over in
We're
the
sure it's
Shire.
not Shire. Or maybe we're Shire, it's not Shire.
Mm-hmm.
The Chief Constable has asked me to get the assistance of Scotland Yard to assist in a brutal case of murder that took place yesterday. The deceased is a man named Charles Walton, age 75, and he was killed with an instrument known as a slash hook. The murder was either committed by a madman or one of the Italian prisoners who are in a camp nearby.
It had to be Italian? Did they go straight to Italian?
Hold on.
Fucking forget about it.
The assistance of an Italian interpreter would be necessary. I think, Dr. Webster states, deceased was killed between 1 and 2 p.m. yesterday. A metal watch is missing from the body, and we are circulating its details to the local pawnbrokers and jewelers. Now, February of 1945. We're in the heat of World War II.
That's right toward the end. Yeah.
There was a prisoner of war camp just a few miles out of town where they were holding all of these Italian prisoners of war. And mind you, they were so secure that they let them wander into town once a week and go catch a fucking movie or whatever the fuck, and they were just expected to cruise back to the camp. And,
we were going to the pub.
And that is why they considered that it must have been one of these Italian prisoners of war, because they were just like, you're going to live here for a while, bro. You know, you're on an island. Where are you going to escape to? Somebody's going to find you because you're going to be like, that's a big meatball, you know?
Yeah. Now listen, what are you going to do if somebody comes in here and tries to hassle you? Fuck you, pay me. I'll keep them out. Forget about it. I got this.
So the postmortem on this is that they did...
Anthony, mind your business.
They found Walton's trachea had been cut and that he had bruising to his chest and several broken ribs. Walton also had defensive wounds, a cut on his left hand and bruises on the back of his right hand and forearm. Webster, the doctor, concluded that Walton's wounds had been caused by two weapons, a stabbing weapon and a cutting weapon, presumably the pitchfork and the slash hook. Walton had also been hit over the head with his own walking stick, which was found 3.5 yards from his body with blood and hair still adhered to it.
Jesus.
It was determined that...
Your own walking stick?
Somebody tore off and whipped your ass with all your own implements.
Well, and he's 70 what?
5?
Yeah, it wouldn't be hard to do. I
suppose.
I was going to say, that's like, why would you fuck with a 70? It's like, just wait a fucking couple days. He'll be dead in a minute.
Yeah.
You know?
So
he fucking insulted me. Eh?
it was determined that Walton had died between 1 and 2 p.m. Walton's shirt had been opened, his trousers had been unfastened at the top, and his fly was unbuttoned.
Pants unbuttoned.
Yeah.
So Webster's report makes no specific mention of the cross supposedly carved on Walton's chest, mentioned in some later accounts.
Sounds a bit witchy to me, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So the common story of this is that, he was the quote unquote sacrifice for better crops, the greater good.
So like Whodunit Rider and all these other ladies jumped out of the woods and before they went to the river.
We're not going back to that, Matt.
Too late.
They turned him into a horny toad.
We thought you was a toad.
Do not seek the treasure. I can do old brother work. And stay out of the Woolsworth.
But he said we wouldn't find the treasure on account of our obstacles. Well, he's an ignorant old man. Okay.
Oh,
That's right.
so fuck, this is fucking killing me. So
Rosario Dawson.
Dude, I just want to fucking stick a fork in it and be done.
Wait a minute.
Okay.
Hey, have you got a license for that pitchfork? I got one for this one. Oh, yeah. Wait a minute, for that one.
Start speaking pikey. Well, kind of the horse,
What is that? See mine. Bong, bong. Tick, 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 tick. Oh, see. So you're saying you haven't seen Bad Boys 2? Oh, God.
No, which one do you want to watch first?
Okay. So.
All right, back to the story.
I'm just.
We're talking about movies, and Lindy's like, I don't know what the fuck you guys are on about. No idea.
So I'm just going to lay this out real quick, okay? Alfred Potter was the only true suspect that the constables ever had. potentially. And this murder has never been solved. Okay. It's been 78, 79 years now. A lot of it because they brought in the Robert Fabian, the guy who the newspapers had dubbed, as being Sherlock Holmes, and he thought he was Sherlock Holmes reincarnated. And so when he came in to take over the investigation, it just became a big, media whirlwind. He was, talking to the papers every day and all this. And at the conclusion of his investigation, he had gone back to his place and basically laid out the story that, he played into the lore that, these people were all very secretive and they were all very tight-lipped and they wouldn't talk to him. He couldn't get any information, and that there seemed to be the overlying, weird, during this time in the war of, people being like, we're going to go back to the pagan ways and all this stuff. So it just became sensationalized and then, just went away because once the big Sherlock Holmes guy was gone, then, there was no big story to write about and it all kind of just died off.
What did pagan stand for in Dragnet? Was it people against goodness and nicety or something? You're forgetting your goat chaps.
Nice. Oh, shit. So, they had somewhat investigated the Italian POWs, but that went nowhere because they were all, he's not got the meatballs. So, they didn't give a shit.
Showed them how to make a Sunday sauce and they were like, fuck you.
It's not to me, Mario.
You gotta be innocent. This is delicious.
It's not to me.
It's not to my brother Luigi either.
You might want to check out Wario. It just looks evil.
So after most of this died down, they finally got a hold of Edith, his niece, and she completely, was like, how are you going to come up with all this lore of witchcraft, all these things, blah, 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 when, in all honesty, what it came down to was Alfred Potter hadn't paid her uncle for a couple of weeks worth of work, and we basically was going to, say something to him when he saw him. So Potter basically fucking killed him so he wouldn't have to pay.
That was a pretty brutal way to go about it.
I thought I thought he'd actually loaned Potter some money because the crops had been bad. That's
one string on it. I couldn't find anything because the only statement from me was that she said he owed her uncle money. So, I figured, he worked for the guy. So obviously he owed him for work.
Yeah.
But the funniest, if not oddest part of this comes from the fact that there was a book written. Where am I at? Okay. So yeah, the crime to this day remains unsolved, giving it a certain mystique to filmmakers and arguably acting as a nucleus for the booming folk horror genre. David Penner's 1967 novel Ritual was loosely based on Walton's murder. When it was adapted into 1973's cult classic, The Wicker Man. The idea of a rural town harboring pagan beliefs and merrily sacrificing dissenters solidified itself as a narrative device in horror cinema, with a through line that can be traced all the way to Ari Aster's Midsommar that was released in 2019 and Ben Wheatley's In the Earth in 2021.
There have been so many movies that try to copy that shit. It was like The House of the Devil came out, They filmed it like it was filmed in the 80s. It felt like the 80s. It was basically Rosemary's Baby kind of shit, but a great fucking movie. And then Midsummer came out and done that. And then a bunch of movies have tried to copy that shit since they've done it. And by the way, the remake of that with Nicolas Cage can go fuck itself.
All right. Tell me how you really feel.
I don't like Nicolas Cage as an actor.
Okay.
I'm not a fan.
Put the bunny down.
I don't keep him out of my fucking movies. Jeez. Fucking just because he'll work for next to nothing because he's ignorant with what he spins, fucking keep him out of my movies. They could have been so good if it didn't have him in it. All right, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
I don't know why. I can't get... Okay. Guy's an asshole.
No shit, Sherlock.
No fuck, Fabian.
Yeah.
All right, so
I feel better.
Speaking of the murder's influence on horror cinema, director Liam Gavin, the man behind the underrated 2016 British ritualistic horror, A Dark Song.
I would just say, oh, goddamn all.
Oh.
Wait, that's a different genre. Never mind. We ain't talking skin flicks here, are we?
They're both great.
Dude, you're having my French maid moment. You obviously definitely rented the wrong movie.
Well, I don't know why.
There's not enough bass lines in this. Boom.
I wouldn't say it was the wrong movie, but
I was told this was a movie that was going to keep me captivated. I only watched 30 minutes of it and fell asleep.
Fuck, you made it that far? 7 and done, bro. 7 and done.
Dude, it took me 22 minutes to figure out what the fuck was going on.
And then I had to get up and make nachos in the middle.
Oh, God.
Good
Okay.
thing I had a runny nose. My Kleenex was next to me. Okay.
Fuck. Okay. Fuck Walton. I'm going to tell you a story. So,
Stay on target.
Target.
Buddy of mine, who I was on active duty with, he ended up joining the local guard unit around here, being a boomer and air refueler. So when everything kicks off over in Kosovo, this is, mind you, many, many moons ago.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
I used to go over and help his wife out with shit, if she needed stuff, whatever. So she invites me over for dinner one night. So I'm like, cool. So I go over and she had one of her friends come over and I'm thinking, all right, she's trying to set me up with her friend. Yeah, whatever. It's cool, right? So we're sitting around, have a nice dinner, have a couple of beers, everything's fine. And then it's, hey, we're going to watch some porn. You want to watch porn with us, Todd? And I'm thinking to myself, this is that fucking situation that
I'm
brain.
the fuck out.
Yes. So I'm like, but it's me. So I'm like, I'll grab another beer and have a fucking seat. Yeah.
I would have looked like a fucking Looney Tunes cartoon. There would have just been like a cloud of my body shape like this as I was heading out the door.
So I sit down and it gets awkward for about 30 seconds as this thing starts out.
It gets awkward, Todd. It gets awkward. The fact they ask you to watch porn with them didn't get awkward.
We're talking about Matt. We are talking about me.
All right. Fair enough.
We are talking about me.
Yep, fair enough. Okay.
If there are not children present, my moral aptitude is nil.
I keep an open mind.
So about 4 minutes into watching this, I realize that all the girls are no longer in this movie anymore. It's just a bunch of guys in a gym locker room. And I look over and they're both staring at me. And I realize that I just been played a prank on. They were like, how long is he going to sit here and watch gay porn? And I'm like,
longer than me, man.
So
Well, you made it 4 minutes, apparently.
What's going on here? And they're like, well, it's porn. And I'm like, yeah, but it's not my kind of porn. And they're just like, we just wanted to see if you'd actually watch gay porn with us. And I was like, well, if that's all we're doing, fuck, okay, I'll get another beer. Who needs one?
It's not exactly blowing my skirt up, but it's like whatever, I suppose.
I walk out, grab some more beers, come back in. They've turned it off, and I'm like, so
wait a minute.
So what's going on here?
I didn't catch the plot.
My buddy's wife just stares at me and she's like, you're an odd duck. We seriously thought you would have like ran out the door. I'm like, well, the beer's free. I had a good dinner. I'm like, the fuck am I out?
Rude.
I mean, yeah. So needless to say, I didn't stick around too much longer because,
Then it got weird.
Because the beer ran out?
Because, honestly, I was like, I think I made a statement, something along the lines of, so if this continues, this is where Todd ends up on all fours, taking it from both ends, right?
Have you ever been caught in one of those moments where, well, you can't get to the bathroom quite quick enough? Well, Robert Fabian Pharmaceuticals would like to proudly present the new anti-diarrheal product, No Shit Sherlock.
You know how when you're in high school and you make those volcanoes for science class? I figured out another way to do it. It's called curry.
Oh, you need some No Shit Sherlock.
You ever had them meat pies over there on Peach Street? Man, I tell you what, they backed me up. I don't know what to do. So I said, fuck Fabian. Give me some of that no shit, Sherlock.
Sir, I seem to have caught a bad case of the trots. It's like Montezuma's revenge down there. Have you got anything to help?
Turn your oh shit moments into no shit moments with No Shit Sherlock.
You got problems with things coming out the bottom? Well, hell, we'll help you get them out the top. Just get you a pitchfork. We'll pin you, cut you, get it out for you. Happy Valentine's Day.
I turned my underwear into one of them fucking slip and slides, and I didn't even mean to.
That's an awful bad case of the mud bud.
I got a mud drag in my pants.
Tell you what, I damn near killed me one of them bottles of that great white Buffalo Woman Cab whiskey. Man, now I gotta get me some of that Fabian Pharmaceuticals. No shit, Sherlock. Ugh.
It's a good thing I wore socks today because there seems to be something running down my leg.
Oh my God.
Only I'd taken that stuff. I wouldn't be showing up to my first date with this huge skid mark in my pants. I hope she's into it. Maybe she wants to take a shower with me and stick a finger in my ass.
Somebody needs to pass around a bottle of that no shit, Sherlock. It's sure starting to stink in here.
Hi-ho.
Baby, could you plug this motherfucker up for a second? Okay.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. Fabian Pharmaceuticals does not represent any cures or anything else other than the fact that, hey, you take our stuff, you're gonna get fucked up. No shit, Sherlock.
Could you please stab me in my neck leg so I stop shitting myself?
Don't forget your bottle of Elliot Rogers baby wipe ointment.
Just shut up and put a finger in my ass. I need some of that no shit Sherlock.
Yes, you do.
Do they make Pampers in XL? It's like a water wiggle.
What does any of this have to do with gay porn?
And they giggled, and I was like, cool. See you later. So, yeah.
Some things are better left unsaid.
So
I'm just saying.
there was like a Travis Walton thing or something, wasn't there? Or what was we?
Speaking of Walton.
Got lost in the ether.
It must be witchcraft. Oh shit,
dude! This was so.
Kate Mira coming up yet? I'm just trying to keep myself in this.
I'm fucking done. Oh my God. Listen, a dude died on Valentine's Day.
We're gonna put a nail in this motherfucker.
A dude died on Valentine's Day. It's never been solved. It's been used to make all kinds of variations of folklore horror. And you know what? The only thing I got to say is fucking You know, kudos to Edith for holding it down.
You fucking. Oh shit!
And this has been our fuck off episode.
Boy, it certainly fucking has been.
Well, this is fun.
This episode was definitely brought to you by Great White Buffalo Calf Woman Whiskey.
It's brought to you by something.
You mean Meon Pharmaceuticals anti-diarrheal? No shit, Sherlock.
Oh, very nice.
Oh, he's been
Very
working on that
nice.
one. He's been working on that one.
Hell yes, my man.
Shit.
Very
Well,
good.
No shit, indeed. Yeah.
You'd be bound up for months. You thought cheese was bad.
Yeah. If it's
Save
not
it,
coming
save
out the bottom end, we'll just open you up on the top end and see if it comes out that way.
Oh.
Pitchfork your head to the ground in case it, starts to spray.
I love every episode Todd does. It's just he's talking. He's like, I'm done. It's like my boy when he was 3 on the toilet. He's like, Dad, I'm done.
Wipe my ass.
Come wipe my
Come here.
ass.
Wipe my ass. I want to go play with my toys. Wipe my ass.
I was hoping to get into some witchy shit, and we didn't do it.
There was okay. So here's what we skipped over. There was a black dog. There was some druidic shit that goes on. There was a demonic hill, and it was bad crops the year before. And I think there was another woman that died the same way, pitchfork through the neck 100 years before.
Witchy woman.
No, it seems like Black Dog, and then there was a couple other things on here that was like that. Todd had
I think
said
Fabian saw Black Dog too, and he mentioned to a kid, and the kid ran off like apparently real superstitious area.
Made me
Small
think of
area.
Zeppelin 4.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's old Pitchfork Walton.
Ah, let's put a fork in it.
A pitchfork.
You just wanted to do that so bad, didn't you?
Yeah. Or the greats are good.
The great are good.
All right. Well, fuck it.
Well, that's the
guys, thanks for
episode, I
hanging out.
suppose. I don't know that I learned a lot of things, but
Well, you learned that some guy got a pitchfork to the head,
leg.
and
I thought it was a leg,
they blamed
wasn't
it
it?
on
It was
The
witches.
neck. It
The
was in the
neck.
neck. They pinned you
it's
to
like
the
the head
ground.
leg. It's like the head leg. He took it right to the head leg.
It's the hollow head leg. All right.
And Lindy's got a
All
shirt
right.
that has a duck on it that turns into a Jeep logo, which is pretty fucking badass, actually.
Yeah, have you never played Duck Duck Jeep?
Yeah.
I don't
Wife's got a Jeep.
know. I used to have a Jeep, but I never played that game. No one likes me. It's never invited.
Nobody likes me. Everybody hates me. Pitchfork my head leg.
Fantastic.
All right, guys, please continue to like and rate and review the podcast. We really appreciate it. Helps with the algorithm, puts us in front of more people. You could please spread the word. That would be great too.
Yes, it would.
Spread the word.
Thank you once again, Todd, for coming and hanging out and, jumping on the coffee table and waffle stomping and fucking shit up.
Hell yeah.
Appreciate it.
This was fun as fuck. I don't know what happened exactly. But
I'm pretty
I'll have
lost.
to listen when everybody else listens and be like, what the fuck did we do? I don't really.
We established 3 facts.
We did.
Okay. We established that somebody died and the date and the year that they died and how they died.
And the one thing that you overlooked was Winona Ryder and Scarlett Johansson came here. Rosario Dawson walked down to the river.
No, never happened.
It happens daily in my mind.
Fact number 4, Todd watched some gay porn.
Yeah, I watched quite a bit of it. Once I said, there would have been a fucking... Okay, first I said Looney Tunes. And then I'm going to say Kool-Aid Man because it would have been like the outline of me going through the door on my exit.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, oh, yeah. I can't get my car started fast enough. They were just sitting there looking at you while gay porn was on. They were like, is he going to take it out?
It started out with like 5 guys. It started out with 5 guys and 3 girls. Okay. So I get into the mindset that I'm going to see a lot of fucking dick and a lot of fucking assholes.
Yeah.
And then I'm like half paying attention, half drinking a beer.
Guys, that's 10 balls, buddy.
And then it's like, I'm not really paying attention. But then I realized that there's no longer any girls.
All right. I want to interrupt you for a second because I think at this point, this half of this episode is you talking about gay porn.
Yes.
That's a little suspect.
It's a whole lot of it.
Bro, I'm only as straight as my options, okay? And in that moment, it was have sex with a girl while watching gay porn. I was like, if this is what's turning her on, fuck, different strokes for different folks.
Once again, I'm out the fucking door.
And on that note,
and I think all of us should be.
They're just on a different wavelength. We get along on most things. But when it comes to that, I'd be like, no, I'm too boring for you. I'll go ahead and promise you right now, I am too boring. I kind of like a vagina the way it is, and I don't need to add anything to it. It's just pretty good as it is.
All right.
I need to stop talking.
All right. We'll see you guys next Tuesday. I'm going to fucking wrap this up.
Let's just edit this whole video.
That's no. And Todd says, I love you. Bye-bye. We'll see you later.
Okay, I love you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Later. Fuck.
It's evil! Don't touch it!
I was with you.
They're coming to get you. What a power of Christ.
This is... Hello, Mr. Fancy Pants.